All right. I am here with Adam Williams, CEO of Elevest, and I could not be more excited. We just came off a amazing PIGFEST 3. Adam is our premier partner. I'll explain what that means here in a little bit. And we wanted to follow up with the momentum we had from the event to really introduce to all PIG family that didn't attend or couldn't attend the event with a conversation. At this point, just about everyone has seen the pitch deck and has seen the video from PIGFEST, but this is a little different. We wanted to do a no-note, one-take, just one-on-one chat with Adam. I've gotten to know Adam here for almost over a year, right? We met in November. In October last year, we started talking. We met at our mutual friend Ross's holiday party, and I had you get in front of our investing committee, and everyone unanimously approved getting you in the PIG family. What happened was DEXA kind of took a lot of oxygen out of the room, and I say that in a good way. They're such an awesome company, our largest raise, and so we really spent a lot of Q1 and some of Q2 focusing on them. And then what better momentum than to release our newest partner, which is great. It's a real estate syndicate, and I'll let you obviously introduce yourself, Adam, but I really got a chance to get to know you and your group. I thought you guys were awesome, and I think you're just such a great fit for the PIG family for a lot of reasons. One, that we don't have something like this, right? We're very big on diversifying our portfolio, and to be able to now get in a real estate syndicate backed by real estate with a very healthy return, one which we're not waiting, hopefully 5, 7, 9 years. It can be sooner. And then one that has something that is very unique because of the real estate offering is that it's got a 1031 exchange, which all these things I'm sure you'll talk about. But that ultimately is why we were super excited about it. PIG is in so many different businesses, all of which we're really happy about. But to be now in a real estate syndicate, and I don't know if I mentioned, but to do this now several times, right? My recollection is you've had 68 offerings. Your investors have made money in 68 of them, right? You've had 0 losses, and I can't imagine that number 69 is going to be the one that loses. So we're super excited. So that's my intro, Adam. It's great to see you again. It's great to see you at PIGFEST. And listen, the momentum, the feedback, the energy and enthusiasm, not only from you and your company and just how you kind of fit our energy and the way we are, but I think just the uniqueness of what you have is pretty awesome. So good to see you again, Adam.
Yeah, good to see you too, Dan. Thank you so much. I'm going to start by saying this. I used to own an event company for many years, and I put on big conferences and all this stuff. You and your team know how to put on a freaking event, man. The energy in the room, the quality of speakers, the quality of people there, the amount of just incredible real business owners and people that are actually really investing. Like, so grateful for you guys to have invited us out. And the other thing I'll say is, Elevest has been vetted deep by a number of groups, multifamily offices and a number of things. You put us on ice for almost a solid year trying to get to your board and everything. So, and was just so grateful to finally be able to talk to them, get in that room, and then have them welcome us in, man. So thank you so much.
No problem. I appreciate it. Thank you. And before we get into the nuts and bolts of your company and this offering, the reason we put all energy and time and money into events is there's nothing to me is more important than our investor family. We have a very wide range of investors. I think we're in 23 states now, 3 countries of investors, over 160 investors, and we have sophisticated, very, very smart investors. So we have to give them, they deserve it. They've earned it. The best, and that's kind of what these events are for. And then for those who miss it, and family functions, timing, scheduling, whatever, we want to do things like this. So if you missed it, let's get to hear more. So tell me how you started Elevest. Tell me when you started Elevest, and really tell us what is Elevest and what are we working with? What are we now in partnership on?
Yeah, 100%. So I'll give you a little history on me. I started investing in real estate in 2004, before the big global financial crisis and real estate meltdown. I met a guy that was doing it in the single family space, single family rentals and such, partnered with him, and we did 252 deals together in about 3 years. So needless to say, we were cranking. We got to a point where we were acquiring 30 new rentals a month. And there's a lot more behind that. But about halfway through that journey, I quickly realized in mid 2006 that I did not want to be a single family rental owner. Way too much pain in the butt, too much risk, too much management. There was just no way I was going to be able to scale that business the way that I wanted to scale. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it right. And so I started studying multifamily and liquidated my entire single family portfolio, went all in on apartment buildings and never looked back. So I've been investing for the better part of 20 years in apartment buildings. And during that time, I owned a marketing and events company for about 15 years, and COVID shut both of those businesses down. So we weren't putting on 2,500 person conferences in Las Vegas when nobody was even going out of their houses, right? So my wife looked at me back in 21, early 22, and she said, dude, why don't we start a private equity multifamily real estate investment firm? It's all you do. It's where you make most of your money. Everybody wants in your deals. Let's go start a company doing it. And I was like, let's go. So in 2022, Elevest was formed and founded. We've done 68 different transactions, completed 68 different transactions. Last year, we closed on 9 assets, about 1,300 units, 212 million in real estate, all multifamily, by the way. It's all we do. We don't do this and that. We're laser focused on one asset class. This year, we've already closed 4 assets. We're a little over $2.7 billion in real estate. Never lost an investor dollar, which I'm extremely proud of. And yeah, man, we've been working on getting in with you and the Pig family for a little over a year. You guys finally invited us in, and we're just so grateful to be true partners with you guys. And PIGFEST was it was our first event, right? And we were just like, oh my gosh, this is everything we had hoped and dreamed of. So that's really it. That's the story. We'll do 8, 10, 12 deals a year. So our deal flow is very consistent. I mean, I'm sure we'll get into more, particulars on how these deals run, but it's very simple and it's very hands-off for the investors. They are limited partners, completely passive. We do all the work so they can focus on their business or whatever they're earning their active income in, and they can go trust us that we're going to invest in real estate-backed structured deals that are just going to provide passive income every single month to them like clockwork. Just hits their bank account around the 15th of every single month. And then a report, obviously, every month so they can see what's going on with their investment.
I'm glad you brought that up, because when I mentioned all the things that we liked about this partnership, 1031 exchange, we'll talk about that later. A healthy return, we'll talk about that later. And the timing and backed by real estate, everything else. What I didn't mention is this is a cash on cash deal. So that is extremely important, right? We have very, very few. We released another one at PIGFEST. It's a different industry, but it's another cash deal. But really, of the 10 to 12 companies in our portfolio, they're all moonshots, right? And we're excited about it. 20, 30, 40 X returns in 5 to 7, 8 years. That's awesome. But what I've been hearing a lot, and our board has heard a lot, is let's get some wins. Let's put some money in distribution. Actually, our original Pig family or company was a restaurant, and that opens this fall. So that will be a cash deal as well. But it took a while, right, to get that thing open because it was in California. So this one's exciting because my understanding, we're just going to go high level here. I'm sure there's a deck attached to when I send this. I'm sure at this point I've already released the video from PIGFEST. So just high level now, my understanding is talk about the preferred return. I believe it's on average of 68 deals, so we can't, specifically project what this one's going to be. But I think on average, you've been averaging a 1.9x return on your money, right? I believe you're trying to start looking to exit around 3 years, but there's no guarantee. It could be 4, could be 5. You're tying it to the market, right? But let's talk about the cash on cash part first. What is kind of like the average return? Because that part's really neat. And then the real return is ultimately when you sell the property in 3 to 5 years. And then there's, that's the big payout.
Yeah, 100%. So one of the main reasons why I love what we do in this investment vehicle specifically is multifamily real estate is it's a cash flow business, right? We acquire big apartment buildings, 200 units, 300 units, 400 units, and those tenants pay rent every single month. So obviously from those rents, we got to cover our expenses, and every additional dollar over and above those expenses gets distributed to our investors equally, pari passu to their ownership in that asset as monthly cash flow. And so around the 15th of every single month, you're going to get an ACH to your bank account that's just boom, 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 like clockwork, with whether you get out of bed or not. You're not working for it. And then when we exit the property, and yes, Dan, our target is always 3 to 5 years, we acquire the asset, we execute our business plan, you get cash flow along the way every month. And when we exit the property 3, 4, 5 years down the line, that's when you get your big, not only your principal back that you invested, but your profits on the end. And I'll dive into how that works. So along the way, it's approximately an average of around 4% cash on cash return. And that's divided over 12 months and hits your bank account. Not massive returns. I totally get that, but you're getting some cash flow every single month. And the beauty of it is because of the depreciation and the tax benefits, it's essentially tax deferred and can be fully tax free. And we can get into more details on that on another call. But that 4%, you're not shipping off any of that to Uncle Sam. If you're getting $1,000 a month in your bank account, you're keeping $1,000. So it's true cash flow to you. And then when we exit the property, we do an 8% preferred return on every single deal. So the investor is going to get the first 8% of profits, And if we pay you approximately 4% along the way, the first thing we're going to do when we sell the property at the end is make up the additional 4%. You're going to get that first. Then you're going to get your principal back. Let's say you invested 100 grand. We're going to give you 100 grand back. And then you're going to get over and above that 8% preferred return, Dan. We're given an 85-15 split, meaning you, the investor, gets 85% of the remaining profits, and we, the sponsor, keep 15% of the remaining profits, which, in my opinion, is how it should be, right? You're putting up your capital, you're trusting in us, you should get the bulk lion's share of the wins here. So all in all, when it all equals out, we're averaging around a 19.5, 20% average annual return. If you invest 100 grand and we held the deal a full 5 years and we got you 200 grand back, that's 20% average annual returns on your money. We have never not hit that mark, by the way. Matter of fact, we've exceeded it in every deal that we've done up to this point.
Yeah. And we did a lot of research. Obviously, our CFO dove deep into your guys' stuff, and it's pretty accurate. So essentially, it's a 1.9 to 2x, on the conservative side return. When having discussions for those who aren't in real estate, I'm fortunate to have spent 26 years in the financial real estate world, so I get it. But when talking to some folks, when you hear numbers like, wow, 4%, I can get more than that in the stock market. Here's a couple of rebuttals to that. Well, one, it depends on the day, right? We hit Iran again, you get negative 10x money, right? And then everything gets better, and sure, you might get 20. So A, the stock market is really loosey-goosey. Second of all, it's not 4%. That's kind of the cash on cash, but it is an 8% preferred return, and that's what ends up getting. So 8 to 10, sometimes 12 is kind of market average anyway on a conservative year. What you don't have is you're not backed by real estate, so you're then getting a VIG when the thing sells at the end. That's where the 8% is not 8%. As you said, it's close to 20%, and now we're talking something good. And then you've got the tax benefits. So also high level, because this could be a 30-minute class at a university where a lot of people don't understand. But tell us what the 1031 exchange is. And by the way, you said something I just want to clarify. Your ACH is going to go to PIG. PIG is then going to ACH to everyone else. Just
That's
be real
right.
clear.
That's right.
Yeah. So tell us what the benefits for those who don't know, and it's okay if they don't. A lot of our investing committee didn't know either because it is tied to real estate. What is a 1031 exchange?
Yeah, so you get a couple of different types of tax advantages in this investment vehicle. So first and foremost, because every time we acquire a new asset and you guys invest in that new asset with us, you're equity owners in the property. This is not a debt fund. You're not lending us money. We are all going in together to buy that apartment building. You can literally look at the apartment building and say, I'm an owner in that building. You truly are. And because of that, and because we do what they call a cost segregation study when we acquire the asset, it allows us to depreciate that asset in year one, which those tax benefits, those paper losses land on your K1 at the end of every single year, at the beginning of the year for the previous year. So I'll give you an example. Last year we acquired 9 assets. I invest in every deal I do. I invested in all 9, and I got an average of a 72 cents on the dollar for every dollar I invested. So if I invested 100 grand in the deal, I got a $72,000 tax loss on my K1. But guess what I did? I collected positive cash flow every single month. So it offsets all of that cash flow and some. So you get your cash flow essentially tax-free. Now, on the 1031 that you're talking about is the second major way. When we go and we sell a property 3, 4, 5 years down the line, you have the ability to 1031 exchange into the next deal with us, which 92% of our investors do, because who wants to pay capital gains taxes, right? So if you choose to 1031 exchange into the next deal, let's just say you invested 100 grand. That next deal, you're going to 1031 about 200 grand. That next deal, you're going to 1031 about 400 grand, and so on and so forth. It just continues to build your wealth completely tax deferred for as long as you want. And if you carry that all the way to your deathbed, the IRS will step that basis up to whatever that number is, and you can actually walk out with 0 taxes on that wealth building vehicle, as well as the taxes that you didn't pay on the cash flow. So it really goes across the board. Best I've ever seen in anything I've ever done in my life. That's why I've been doing it almost 22 years.
Well, dude, you're onto a great thing, and this is why you're unique. Couple of notes. When I mentioned earlier that Elevest and PIG had joined up on a premier partnership, I want to explain what that means. We don't have and have not had an ability to do 1031 before, and backing something with real estate, which a big part of our PIG community is already in individually, and now is going to be in with PIG. We believe this is not going to be a one and done, and we want to do multiple deals, really. So we've essentially partnered up together and decided, because I too, like you, invest in everything we do, and I'm going to be your very first investor in this Elevest 69, or I believe the PIG fund is going to be called PIG Elevest LLC. Is we're going to do several of these because I think there is a very big appetite. There's a lot of people who are trying to avoid getting hit by Uncle Sam. A lot of people love being part of the real estate, and honestly, we like following winners, and having you be 68 out of 68 gives us a lot of confidence. So we are officially premier partners. So I love that, and you're really our first long-term player. We love our other companies, and some of them we've been tied to for 3+ years. Nothing changes, but I think this one is going to be one that continues to roll. Before I mention something that I think ties into that partnership, I wrote a note. You mentioned that this is 85-15 investor friendly to sponsor, which is what you are. How is that different from right now? I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the largest real estate syndicate in the country is Grant Cardone, right? He's all over social media. He's amazing at what he does. What is the difference between what you do in Elevest and his offerings? You're 85-15. What are his, for example?
Yeah, and look, to Grant Cardone, like, man, I have great respect for him. I'm actually going out to his office to see him in a couple of weeks. I've become very close with him and his team. The dude's acquired $5.5 billion in multifamily real estate. He's a beast, right? But I know his deals intimately, and they're great for the right people. He switches it from time to time. On his current deal, I believe he's doing an 8% preferred return as well, but a 50-50 split over and above that. The other difference with Cardone is he does shiny glass and steel Class A plus properties. And the challenge with that is, as beautiful as they are, you can't force appreciation in those deals. So it's a much longer hold period. For us, we're not only doing the bigger splits because it's just the way that we operate. Like, there's plenty of meat on the bone. Give the investor the lion's share. It's just how I've always operated. But number two, with the types of assets we do, which are B and B plus in A locations, those types of assets, we can force appreciation to get velocity of capital for our investors. So while Cardone will hold a property for 10, 15, 20 years, because there's really no way to force appreciation if it's already a flawless, brand new, shiny building. For us, we're able to force appreciation and sell in 3, 4, 5 years and double investor capital, which is, to me, that's all I want to do. We're here to make the money. That's it, right? As investors, we got to double our capital as quickly as we can.
And he has earned the right, being as good as he is and successful as he is, where he's taking a bigger piece of the pie. You're almost investing in the name, correct? So he's at 50-50. You're at 85-15. Again, 85 in our favor. It's a better deal. This specific Elevest 69, or what we're going to call PIG Elevest, this deal, where is the property? Tell us a little bit about the deal.
Yeah. So this deal, we're working on 2 different assets to put into 69. It's either going to be a Dallas deal, which I certainly hope that it is, or it's going to be a North Carolina deal. One's going to be 69 and one's going to be 70, Fund 70. I think we're going to get awarded both of those deals. And so I talked about both of those at PIGFEST, of course, with everybody there. We should know, I mean, maybe by the time you put this out, I don't know if this is coming out in a week or whatever, but by the time this is coming out, you guys will know. But it's either going to be a Dallas deal or it's going to be a North Carolina deal. One is 320 units, the one in Dallas. The one in North Carolina, I think, is 190 some units. I always tell people this. It does not matter what the deal is. They're all 8% pref. They're all 85-15. The business plan is exactly the same. We've done 68 of these. This will be 69. Then we'll do 70. It is a different building with a different address and a different number of units, but the returns are the same. Everything's the same. So you guys are either going to have Dallas on this one and North Carolina on the next one, or reverse that.
Well, listen, we have investors in both, but I'm biased to Dallas because I want to see it.
That's right.
So, no, that's great. One of the things I rolled out, which is very unique for those who didn't come to PIGFEST, is I rolled out a VIP fund, which is very rare. After 3 years of being with PIG, we wanted to create an opportunity. And I do think it's going to tie in with what you do, right? We rolled out, we have some offerings. Some of them are capped, some aren't, right? Some of them are $200,000, some are $1 million. And unfortunately, like DEXA, there were a lot of people who are on a waiting list who couldn't get in, right? So we rolled out at PIGFEST a VIP fund where you can get in on anything right away. And we have your money, we hold your money, we don't use your money in any way. And as soon as we have an offering, so we don't lose it, we go invest into that, and that's kind of the VIP fund. It's a front of the line pass. It's like if you want to, board your airplane quick, you technically you pay for it. In this case, you're not paying a penny more. We're just getting a penny earlier, right? So we can be able to invest it. And I think that is so we can take advantage of say Elevest 69 and 70 and 71 and And we know we're not your only investors, right? We know you have others. We don't want to ever miss out on a deal, and I think that's there's a lot of enthusiasm behind the VIP fund. So I wouldn't VIP fund just any company, and that's kind of another reason why we put you guys on the Premier Partner program with us. So that is.
Yeah, if I could just say something on that, Dan, sorry to interrupt you, but you and I had spoken about that at PIGFEST, and I think it's genius. We do a very similar thing at Elevest. We call it our private client division, but I'll tell you why we started doing that a couple of years ago. And it's perfect for your audience that you're doing this. When we put out a new offering, a new apartment building, right? Fund 69 as an example, we generally fill that up in 24 to 48 hours. And I'm not talking little raises like 30 million, $40 million, we'll fill up in no time. And here's why, because these things are a needle in a haystack. We underwrote 550 deals last year. We bought 9, and people just know the value of these offerings. So the money's sitting there waiting. And so what we call it for our private client division and your VIP division is you're going to get guaranteed allocation into these deals. You're going to see the deal a week prior to us taking it out to retail. And I know we've already agreed to do that for your group. So
yeah, no, I love it. Finally, on my end, unless you have anything else you want to add, we invest and we've got a model and our philosophy is we have to love the company that we're investing in. We have to love the team. And of course, we have to love the return, right? If any of them we dislike, it's over. If any of them, if we love two and we like the other, that's okay. We can move on. But we really we love these returns, right? We know it's as safe as you can get in investing, right? But it is. And we love you and your team. You guys have been, nothing but awesome. And we believe in what you guys have done. Obviously, 68 out of 68 is pretty exciting. But part of loving the CEOs and the company is we invest in people as well. So for those who don't know you, like I do, and like some of us here at PIG do, tell us a little bit about you and kind of your background, your family, and what you got going on outside of Elevest.
I'm just a normal, hardworking guy. Grew up in Washington State. I've been here in Scottsdale, Arizona, 26 years now. Met my wife here, so I'm married. We have 2 kids, a little boy, little girl. Daughter's 8. She's probably going to be the CEO of this company one day. She's a beast. Son's 16. He's on the sales team right now on our education side because we do a lot of real estate investing education as well. 2 dogs, we're just normal folks. I'm 48 years old, so not a young man, but not an old man either. And my goal, literally my hill to die on, is to teach as many people about investing in multifamily real estate as possible, because people don't have access to these types of deals. They don't know where to go, what to do. Nobody's teaching this in school. Nobody's teaching this on Wall Street. So people finding groups like yours, Dan, is the way that they get in and get educated on these deals. And so I'm just happy to be a part of what you're doing.
So final, and I hate using the word sales pitch, but for someone who's on the fence and isn't sure if this is something they want to invest in, just one last, why should they get into Elevest? I mean, I kind of listed a bunch of reasons, but that was me. Let's hear from you.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's a horse and a jockey that you're betting on, right? And I look at it as you got to win on both if you're going to win in your investment strategy. And so I always say, the property, the apartment building is the horse, stable as can be unless people stop needing a place to live. And the jockey is us. And if you're going to bet on somebody, 68-0, 22 years in the game, $2.7 billion in real estate, never lost an investor dollar, I'd bet on that jockey.
Love it. Okay, well, we're betting on you. Thank you, Adam. It was great to see you. I know we made a commitment that we're going to do one of these face-to-face at your Scottsdale office when I come visit. I know when you come to Dallas, especially if we're going to do this property, that's not far from where I'm at. So we'll do another one of these. And I think for us, communication is key. So if we're going to continue to communicate as to what we're doing, that's great. You did mention, how do we get to know? Are you sending like monthly, here's how the property's doing, or here's where we're at? I mean, what kind of communication do you do?
Yeah, 100%. So a couple of different things. We are massive on communication and transparency with our investors, right? It's important. So we sit on, Elevest sits in the driver's seat of the car, I like to say it. We're doing all the work. We're handling the operations. You don't have to do anything. You're not going to get a call when a tenant moves out or a repair need, nothing. You get a wire to your bank account. Well, it's an ACH, but you get an ACH to your bank account every month. That's it. That's your job. Invest your money, trusting us to do the work. But I like to say the investor should sit in the passenger seat and have complete visibility and transparency into what's going on with their money, what's going on with their investment. So here's how it works. Every single month, when you get your ACH to your bank account for your monthly passive income, your distribution, you're also going to get a monthly report. And that monthly report shows everything that's going on with occupancy in the property, CapEx, renovations, what's been done, all the way down to the actual ledger and property bank account. So you can see every single dollar that has been spent that month, who it was paid to, what it was spent on, et cetera. In addition to the monthly report that you receive every single month, we have a full fund administration team here in my office. We have a real office here in Scottsdale. We're here every single day. And you can call in and be like, hey, I got a question about this. What about that? So full support for our investors and just complete transparency across the board.
Love it. Love it. Adam, I told you we do it. One take, real transparency, no notes, no fluff. Nope. We did no prep. We just go, right? I love it. Great to see you last week. Obviously, we'll be talking here shortly and we'll get together a little bit more, but thank you for being part of our Pig family and for letting Pig be part of your Elevest family. I think together we can do a lot of things for plenty of years together. So I really appreciate your time. And thank you very much. I will, I'm sure, release a deck tied to this video. And at some point, I would have released the PIGFEST presentation that you did. So all things awesome. I can't wait to see you again, man. And let's keep rocking.
Thank you, Dan. Feelings mutual, man. Appreciate you.
Talk to you soon.